A small bust in the Italian Museum of Ancient Ostia may be a young Brutia Crispina, wife of Emperor Commodus. Crispina was born in the year 164 to an extremely wealthy family. Her father was Senator Gaius Bruttius Praesens, her mother Valeria. The family was politically powerful. Crispina's father had been consul of the Roman Empire twice, once under Antoninus Pius and once under Marcus Aurelius. The hairstyle on the marble head resembles early coins recording her marriage with Commodus. However, the Ostia hairstyle is not faithfully depicted on any of Crispina's known coinage. This coin shows her double-braided stacked bun. On the back of this coin is the word concordia, meaning union, and two clasped hands, an ancient Roman wedding gesture that is still part of the marriage ceremony today. Crispina was only 14 and Commodus 16 when they married in 178 AD. Crispina's dowry included jewels, rich clothing, money, and most importantly, land. Crispina's dower lands included most of the region of Lucania, the instep of the Italian boot. Ancient Lucania measured roughly 3,900 square miles. The coin record implies that Crispina got pregnant early in their marriage. A coin was issued with her portrait on the front and an altar dedicated to the gods of procreation on the back. Another coin depicts Crispina with a dedication to Juno Lucina, goddess of childbirth, implying that a pregnancy was nearly to term. After this, there were no celebratory coins or inscriptions recording a birth. One can only conclude that there was a sad outcome, likely a late-term miscarriage or stillbirth. The couple remained childless for the rest of their marriage. The Ostia Crispina hairstyle shows the signs of tight inside braiding technique. This is an ingenious means of copying the appearance of the wide fold of hair depicted at the sides of Empress Faustina the Younger's later portrait types. For this purpose, inside braiding works particularly well when the hair is slippery and relatively straight. To dress her hair, Crispina would have had enslaved or freed women hairdressers called ornatrices. Complex Roman hairstyles are sewn together with needle and thread. However, this style is simple enough that modern wearers with sufficient skills and a three-way mirror should be able to duplicate it on themselves. Divide the hair in half from forehead to nape with a center parting. Commodus succeeded his father Marcus Aurelius in the year 180 at the age of 19. Ancient historians agree that he was an unfit, distracted, and incompetent ruler. Cassius Dio and Aelius Lampridius describe Commodus the man as a lazy, pleasure-seeking spendthrift, half-wit megalomaniac. They describe his emperorship as capricious, erratic, money-grubbing, bloodthirsty, murderous, and cruel. On each side of the head, weave a three-strand, inside augmenting braid, also known as a French braid, from the temple to the nape. There was much dissatisfaction with Commodus's rule. There were attempts to murder or overthrow him. One foiled conspiracy involved his own sister, Lucilla. At the nape, continue braiding to the ends of the hair. Bind the ends of the braids with needle and thread using a large blunt needle, for example a tatting or number 11 yarn needle. Tie one end of the yarn to the eye of the needle for more control. I begin binding the ends by wrapping the distal end of the thread around the ends of the hair. I then stitch through and around the wrapping to secure it. When I'm happy with the binding, I clip off the excess thread. I now repeat the entire procedure on the opposite side. I now repeat the entire procedure on the opposite side. I use narrow woolen yarn to sew the hair. This is historically appropriate. I choose a color that blends with the hair color. I use long thread in my needles, up to 1 meter in length. Long thread allows me to work without changing needles too often. I now rethread or take a new needle if necessary. I tie a slip knot in the end of the thread, then I make a catch stitch at the base of the braids. I send the needle through the slip knot in order to secure it to the hair. Next, stitch the braids side by side to make a long panel. Don't stitch tightly, just tight enough so there is no gap between the braids. Next is to stitch the ends of the 2 braids together through their binding. I take a new needle full of thread with the thread tied to the eye. I make another slip knot. I carefully wind the hair into a bun, tucking the ends inside. I take a catch stitch underneath the bun and send the needle through the slip knot. I now tension the thread and begin stitching the bun to the scalp. I stitch until the bun feels secure. With heavy hair like hers, I might need up to 2 needles full of thread. The year 192 brought some welcome relief to the Roman people because Commodus was poisoned and strangled to death by his closest friends and his favorite lover Marcia. Marcia had received, by chance, a list written by Commodus himself ordering their executions. Knowing what we know about her husband, it is indeed astonishing that Crispina's marriage lasted 13 years, 10 of them without scandal. Sadly, Crispina did not get the satisfaction of outliving her husband. In the year 188, she was accused of adultery and conspiracy and banished to the island of Capri, the island of goats. It is doubtful that these accusations were true. Convicting his wife of adultery allowed Commodus to get rid of his wife but keep her dowry land. Roman divorce usually required dowry property to be returned to the wife's birth family, especially when there were no children. But should a wife be convicted of adultery, her property could be kept by her injured husband to do with what he pleased. Crispina was executed the year before Commodus met his well-deserved end. The style is now complete. To take down a hairstyle, I gently stretch the components apart and locate individual stitches. I carefully clip each stitch and stretch the components some more. Gradually, enough stitches are cut that the style may be pulled apart and the bits of thread picked out with the fingers and a wide-tooth comb. Although one can dress this style by oneself with enough skills, taking it down is a bit trickier. Ideally, you'll have a friend or partner to help you. If the home hairstylist doesn't worry about authenticity, you can use rubber bands to bind the ends and hairpins to hold up the bun. Only the braids need to be sewn together side by side. If the end bindings will not slide off by pulling, cut the threads in the direction that the hair flows, not across it, or you may cut the hair.